Bernard Hickey, good morning.
Good morning, Marcus. You would have got a good price. Prices of sheep are up at the moment. High prices for Marcus.
No, well, the story was the kids got it at a class in Kent to learn about marketing, and then they decided to market it, which they didn't know meant chopping it up and auctioning it. So anyway, the Marcus, the sheep. So anyway, hey, situation Wall Street. The bank's still bad there?
Yes, 1 year on from Lehman Brothers, exactly, September the 15th today. The banks there are bigger and more riskier than ever. And we're seeing none of the mistakes being learnt from. The government, the US government, has tried to regulate the banks tougher, but the lobbyists are so powerful in America, and frankly, Obama is so weak that none of the changes have been made. So all they've done is bail out the biggest banks, make them even bigger, and now those banks are using government guarantees to go out there and make a potload of money to produce even bigger bonuses for their staff. And this is, and many people are worried about this. Simon Johnson, the former IMF economist, Joseph Stiglitz, the former the Nobel Economics Prize winner, are all saying, "Hey, we've learnt nothing. These banks are bigger than ever. They're just as dangerous, and we run the same risk of the same thing happening again 1 year on from Lehman Brothers." And it shows that some people think we're out of the woods with this economic crisis. I think over the next couple of years we may find that we may not have another crisis, but we are stuck with these huge zombie banks that run the same risk of implosion that they did before.
Iceland?
Well, that's
because Iceland was always a cock case. We've heard nothing on the 1 year anniversary. Have they bounced back, or what's happening there?
Oh no, their GDP is down close to 20%. Unemployment's gone from 5% to well over 10%.
So they're still a cock case.
Yes, and people are still torching their Range Rovers to get the insurance.
That's right. That's what we were discussing yesterday. It was all about the Range Rovers. China protectionism's on the rise. This is bad.
This is bad news. Remember, during the 1930s, we had a rise of protectionism as the American politicians and the European politicians reacted to the Depression by simply, and in fact deepened the Depression, by cutting trade ties. We thought we got away with it this time. There hadn't been too many of these crazy protectionist moves. But the Americans are back on form. Barack Obama has signed off a 35% tariff on Chinese tyre imports to America, after the United Steelworkers Union said, "Hey, we don't like these Chinese imports coming in." And now the Chinese are very grumpy about it, talking about a new era of protectionism. This is very bad for the global economy if it expands out of control. And one to watch, because the Americans are also looking at various other things, including car parts and chicken products from China. One to watch out for.
Okay, just quickly, you got half a minute. The ETS changed in the emission trading scheme. Good thing, bad thing?
Well, it's good for some parts of the economy.
Forestry.
Yes, and also some of the big industrial producers. It means a bit of a transfer of the cost onto the taxpayer rather than the individual producer, which you could say defeats the purpose of it. But it's going to mean less pain for the economy. It means, however, that we've softened our stance on it. I think that's not such a bad thing. I don't think it's good that we would be ahead of everyone else.
Good stuff. Thanks very much, Bernard Hickey.